Hi, I'm Ben Mitchell, and this is my week four discussion. So starting off with my first question, which is kind of a standing question I have for this course, is how and if we can discover a truth and how that differs between the philosophical and scientific communities and how those differences relate and interact with each other. So this week kind of gives us another layer onto pretty much all the topics that were discussed last week. Um, and on the surface, I do like the falsifying idea. I think for very rigid types of science and types of theories, it can cause one to have more confidence in that theory. Um, for example, if you know that someone is trying to actively disprove their theory, you have a little more confidence in that they have more confidence in their own theory. If they're actively trying to disprove it, can't. Um, now, in the same, well, in an actually contrasting way, I think that it just doesn't work for some science. I think there's a lot of science that's useful and that we know about that doesn't conform to those rigid guidelines that can be used when falsifying. Um, yeah, so I think that this kind of bridges the gap between the philosophical and scientific communities for me. I think the fact that it relates so heavily to Einstein's theory um, really, makes me see that how philosophical thought influences science and influences what we think is quote unquote true. Now, on to the second question. I do think that when someone admits they're wrong, you have more trust than them um, because they're open to their ideas being disproven and they're open to the fact that you feel like they're putting aside their own pride in order in a quest for the truth. Um, and just talking about more generally in today's day and age, if we should be thinking that way. I think we definitely should. It's just a question of, um, it's only human to have pride in your beliefs and, you know, think something that you believe is right until it's proven wrong to you without actually looking to prove it wrong. So I think we should keep our minds open, um, try to prove ourselves wrong more often. Yeah, thank you.